Do you remember the 21st night of September? Well, you will now, because we've got a whole host of incredibly memorable games on offer this week, which are sure to stay with you for years to come. From retro classics to remasters and even a couple of brand new hits, here are a few of this week's finest selections.
The Battlefield games have always been the ultimate test of whether you can think on your feet, thanks to the massively destructible environments which keep the field shifting from one moment to the next. But when the game is set in the climate change ravaged vision of 2042, you can expect those changes to come that much harder and faster, sometimes in the form of tornadoes. But while the forecast might be unpredictable, you can guarantee that there will be a steady stream of new content blowing your way, like the second season, Master of Arms, which added a new map and a minigun-toting new specialist. So if you're looking for a shooter that always keeps you on your toes, you can pick up Battlefield 2042 for 55% off.
But if you prefer more of a level playing field, you might be better taking yourself out to the ballpark with MLB 22 The Show. Just like Battlefield 2042, the latest baseball sensation has been optimized for Xbox Series X and S, with a 60 FPS frame rate to keep the action swift and smooth like a Shohei Ohtani fastball. Or something. I'm Scottish, I really don't know how any of this works. But I do know that MLB The Show 22 now also features online co-op, which lets you team up with a friend or two to compete in both regular matches and the card collecting Diamond Dynasty mode. Because isn't the real home run the friends we make along the way? I'm actually asking because, again, Scottish. MLB The Show 22 on Xbox Series X and S is now 60% off, and you'll also find it on Xbox Game Pass.
If heaven is indeed a half-pipe, then it might look a little bit like OlliOlli World. The whole place is a skater's paradise, brought to life by a cartoony, cel-shaded art style and some of the most laid-back tunes you'll ever hear, and a beautifully engineered control system that makes grinding, grabbing, and tricking feel as natural as breathing. OlliOlli World quite literally adds a whole new dimension to the series, with 3D levels and an array of new moves to help you maneuver through them. Run along walls, clatter your way downstairs, and pull off some gnarly grabs as you try to find the quickest route through each level, or just the most stylish one. Running all the way up at 120 FPS on next-gen consoles, OlliOlli World is one of this year's coolest titles, and it's now 35% off too.
There are lots of great racing games on Xbox, but let's be honest, driving around on a perfectly flat strip of pristine tarmac, anyone can do that. SnowRunner is for those who want to make things a bit more interesting. Using a highly advanced physics engine and some incredible terrain simulation, SnowRunner is able to give you a strong idea of what it would be like to drive through the worst conditions imaginable. Cragged rocks, howling winds, torrential rain, deadly ice, and great piles of snow. If it makes it more difficult to get from A to B, it's probably in here somewhere. There's no easy road here, in fact, there's often no road at all. But if you're looking to really flex your motoring muscles, SnowRunner is now half price, and it's also available on Xbox and PC Game Pass.
Dying Light 2 has been one of 2022's biggest hits, but if you've been flinging yourself around post-apocalyptic play parks and wondering how everything went foobar, you can check out the first game in this week's sale. In a city overrun with zombies, being light on your feet is an absolute must, and your parkour skills will allow you to explore every inch of the game's concrete jungle. They also come in very handy for taking on those flesh-munching scoundrels, allowing you to combine acrobatic moves with melee weapons and firearms to devastating effect. The Definitive Edition even packs in all 7 years worth of DLC content, so no matter how ravenous your appetite for zombie slaying action is, Dying Light should leave you satisfied, and it's now 75% off into the bargain as well.
The idea that you should try to keep each other alive is a pretty fundamental part of co-op gaming, but Res Please has found a cunning way to turn that idea on its head and bash its sorry little brains out. In this morbidly funny puzzle platformer, you play as a pair of wizarding brothers who are taking on the forces of darkness. Sadly, their magical arsenal isn't up to all that much at the start, so you'll have to rely on a resurrection spell to make it through, strategically allowing one brother to be gruesomely offed before bringing them back to life again. It's an ingenious mechanic that not only forces you to think completely differently than you would in any other game, but it also provides the perfect excuse for a whole load of bloody slapstick violence. So if you're in the mood to kill your buddy over and over and over again, Res Please is now 80% off.
The modern Tomb Raider trilogy pushed an iconic series in a whole new direction. You'll still be jetting off to exotic locations around the world, unearthing lost treasures, and playing as a badass adventurer named Lara Croft, but you can expect to visit some much darker places along the way. Each of the 3 games really puts Lara through the ringer, emphasizing the survival skills needed to stay alive in remote places. Crafting weapons, hunting animals, and stalking silently through the shadows all come with the territory, especially since you're usually not the only Tomb Raider in town. Turns out it's an industry that attracts a lot of shady types. Who knew? So if you're ready to take on the whole grueling trilogy of modern Tomb Raider titles, the Definitive Survivor Collection is now 60% off.
Most of us have probably wished for a do-over button in our lives at some time or another, and that's exactly what Maxine Caulfield gets when she discovers she can rewind time. But what to do with this newfound power? Each change made to the timeline in the narrative adventure Life is Strange produces its own unintended consequences, ultimately forcing the player to make some heartbreaking choices. But if you still feel like you could be even heartbrokener, Before the Storm then takes us back before the events of the main game, where there is less time turning going on, but every bit as much drama. The Life is Strange Remastered Collection is one beautiful gut punch after another, and it's now 35% off, while you can check out the most recent game in the series, True Colors, on Xbox and PC Game Pass. We'll finish up on another horrifying note with Resident Evil's Deluxe Origins bundle also shuffling its way into the sale. Containing the remastered versions of both the iconic original game and its prequel, Resident Evil 0, this is the perfect way to return to the series' roots and find out how it all began. There's even an option to choose between the original controls and a more modern setup depending on just how nostalgic you're feeling. This really is the perfect time to start the series over too. Not only is the latest game, Resident Evil Village, delivering state-of-the-art ray tracing enhanced scares for Xbox Series X and S gamers, but the 2nd, 3rd, and 7th games have also been optimized for maximum blood curdling. And then there's fan favorite Resident Evil 4, which has a full-blown remake on the way. So if you pick up the Deluxe Origins bundle now for 75% off, you'll know that there are still plenty of horrors lying in wait for once you're done.
So go, pick up any one of these titles, play the night away, and make Earth, Wind and Fire proud. Hit the comments to let us know which ones you'll be grabbing, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell on your way out. Bye!